Welcome back to Therapy Thursday. Today's a bit of a selfish blog because it's an exercise we give out somewhat frequently. However, we've never found a good video to describe this appropriately on the internet. We'll get referrals from sports medicine professionals asking us to do eccentric loading, which is loading a tendon and muscle unit while it's lengthening, specifically for a muscle called the supraspinatus. That's a muscle that sits on top of your shoulder blade here, and it's the most common type of tendinopathy that people get with a rotator cuff problem. There's a bit of controversy between whether or not just eccentric loading or heavy concentric plus eccentric loading is better for tendon health, but it's a bit of a moot point as it relates to this supraspinatus muscle because when people have a chronic tendon issue there, it becomes exceedingly painful for them to do the concentric loading phase where they're lifting their arm up to the side. So you're looking for a method that you can essentially lower a weight down slowly in what's called the scapular plane, so just to the front, not in the coronal plane, and that's to reflect how your shoulder blade sits on your rib cage, but not having to bring the weight back up. So there's two little hacks that we can use for this. One caveat we should mention is that you are only supposed to do this protocol after you have visited a healthcare professional and ensure that this is the appropriate method for you and your tendon, otherwise it can worsen your shoulder. So assuming that you have gone through that, the first method, you can see I've got a little 8-pound weight here on top of an elevated surface. I can come to the side. We prefer this fold can position, it's called, where the weight is up to the side and my thumb is pointing towards the ceiling. So I've grabbed the weight and I can slowly lower with a cadence of roughly 3 to 4 seconds. At the bottom, to avoid having to lift the weight back up to the side to place it back up on the surface, I'm just going to switch hands, put the weight back up on the ledge, grab it again, and slowly lower for 3 to 4 seconds. The second method you can try is what's called a hammer curl up. Press out to the side in that scapular plane, and again, slowly lower for 3 to 4 seconds. Hammer curl up, press out to the side, and slowly lower for 3 to 4 seconds. Either of those should work. The other issue with this is it does need to be in a bit of discomfort. If you are unwilling to feel this exercise, you probably need a little bit more weight. So provided that you've actually been okayed by a healthcare professional, this might be appropriate for you with your supraspinatus tendinopathy. Give it a try, and we'll see you next week on Therapy Thursday.